I don't know if you saw the news yesterday. This is a little frustrating, predictable, but frustrating. By 2023, Joe Biden's allies were quietly preparing for the unthinkable, we find out yesterday, his death in office by 2023.
I mean, I'm glad he made it.
I am too.
But however, it wasn't unthinkable.
No, I know.
I just got to say.
Well, it was because they kept saying that he was in perfect health and he was never healthier than anybody else. There's a new book out called Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by Amie Parnes and Jonathan Allen. Hey, thanks for the update now, guys. We had no idea. I mean, you did if you paid attention and you realized that you weren't being told the truth and you just watched. But what we were never shown were the fluorescent tape marking his path at public events to keep him from wandering off. Did you know that? The death pool roster that the White House had, that Kamala Harris's team drew up, listing the federal judges who might swear her in if his heart stops. Did you know this was happening? Did you know? I mean, his health and his brain activity was so bad that they had a resident makeup artist on hand all the time, not just to make him up to enhance his appearance in case he goes on television, but to mask the shell that he had become. Stephen Miller said they were literally Michael Jacksoning him, a reference to the late pop star-owned cosmetic cover-ups, while dismissing skeptics as conspiracy theorists. In some days, Biden would endure the makeup ritual, only then to cancel all of his briefings entirely and call it a day.
What?
Uh-huh. So I want to know who sanctioned all of this.
Yes.
Because the aides knew it. All the leadership in the White House knew it. Mm-hmm. The people that applied the makeup knew it. The schedulers who cleared his calendar knew it. Why wouldn't they say? Were they protecting the president? Because you're supposed to protect the presidency. The president and the presidency. And the presidency is even more important. That's why if Barack Obama, and we talked about this years ago, Barack Obama would have invited me to the White House, I would have absolutely gone like Bill Maher did. I would have been polite. I would have, shaken his hand. I would respect him.
Respect the office.
Because I respect the office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to like the man. I respect the office because the office is more important than any man. Then came the moments we're finding out in this new book of the cognitive unraveling. It was there in plain sight, but if you said anything about it, remember, you were a conspiracy theorist. So Eric Swalwell, the congressman, he comes to the White House, and he's supposed to meet with the president. They meet, and Biden doesn't even know who he is, has no idea who Congressman Swalwell is. Swalwell had to say, remember me, I'm a congressman. I worked on this with you and this, and he was like, oh, yeah, that's right, I remember. Holy cow.
How did we make it through that? I mean, only God could have got us through that, I swear.
How did we not know? Why were no cameras allowed to capture it? Why didn't anyone say anything? Why were there no leaks on this? You are committing an act of treason, I believe, to the country. If you've sworn an oath to the country, to the Constitution, why are you not warning on this? Who's making the decisions? Why did no one sound the alarm? Shouldn't Swalwell do it himself? Of course. Then everything comes crashing down in 2024. Biden steps down as the Democratic nominee. It was forced on him by Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi. And then what we didn't see was the backstage backstabbing that was going on. Harris, remember when this happened, Biden came out and said, I'm stepping down. No endorsement. And then like 30 minutes later, this endorsement for Kamala comes out, right? Well, now we know what happened. Kamala calls and says, hey, you've got to endorse me or they're going to go for an open, Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi, they want an open primary. You got to endorse me. And so he does. He endorses just to screw Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama. Nobody's talking about the screwing of the system. He's painted as a hero for doing something brave when he intentionally screwed the system because he wanted to screw Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama. Okay? Nobody says anything about it, just the noble farewell to him. He's just great. Nobody heard about the power plays. Nobody heard about the backstabbing. Nobody heard about the subversion of the Constitution here. Okay, great. And again, nobody says anything? Nobody says anything. Huh. Why? Why weren't we allowed to see? And how deep did this actually run? Who is responsible? Who is giving the orders? Who is telling everybody to shut up as they Michael Jackson him? Why did no one say, I've got a real problem. We have to put little fluorescent stickies on the floor so he knows where to walk. Isn't that a problem? Well, there was nobody that said, by the way, we're just trying to line up the right justice to swear her in because we want that photo op. We want that to look really good. We want the correct justice. Holy cow. What else don't we know? What about the memos? Any memos buried? How about the doctors? Remember when the doctors were going there like, no, he's fine. He's fine. He just, you know what? I had a problem. I had some toenail fungus, and I asked him to look at my feet because he is so fine that he's almost a doctor right now. He's so sharp. What happened in those? Remember those meetings? And the doctors came out and they were like, wait a minute, aren't you a guy that specializes in dementia? No. Why weren't we told this? These are the questions that you must ask because no one else will. Who else knew? Cabinet members, obviously the First Lady. And I'm going to stop calling them the press corps because they really are. They're dead to me. They're the press corpse. They really are. Let's pronounce that as it's spelled. Pronounce it incorrectly because they are the press corpse. They're as useful as dead people. Why were they so eager to debunk anybody as cheap fakes? Why wouldn't they dig into any of these? Why weren't we trusted with the truth? What medical reports were suppressed? Who gave the orders to keep this going? And what's going to happen to the media? All those that knew, here's what's going to happen. Nothing. Believe me, nothing. They all knew. At best, they all just convinced themselves that it wasn't true. They allowed their own mob to convince them that, nobody really knows what the truth is. And it's better for America to hide it. That's what they've convinced themselves of. But that's not their decision. It's not their job. It's our decision. Their job is to tell America the truth of what's really going on and let us decide. Because this is all of our country. This is not just the Democrats or the Republicans, and certainly not the elites in Washington. It's we the people, not we the press, not we the educated, not we the elite, but we the people, all of us. We're paying a price for all of this. Will they pay a price? Will anyone who still watches them stand up and say, wait a minute. I mean, I just read the New York Times and you're now covering all of the things you told us were conspiracy theories on Ukraine. In fact, it's worse than what the conspiracy theorists were saying about what we were doing in Ukraine. You told us that we weren't funding color revolutions with USAID, but now it comes out, yes, we were. The Great Reset, conspiracy theory, nope, it's real. COVID, nope, didn't tell us the truth. Masks, vaccines, our kids being kept out of school, Russiagate, on and on and on. All of the lies. Will they pay with the price of the price they should pay? Embarrassment and shame for what they've done just for power. No, they won't pay. And you know why? Because the tale that we are reading or expected to read in this new book out, the tell-all book about how bad it really was, and nobody knew except everybody knew. The real story there of Biden's decline is a mirror. And it's not reflecting one man's fall, but it reflects our willingness to look away until it's too late. That has to change. And until it does, it goes right back to the opening monologue in today's broadcast. Donald Trump is at least telling us we have to do these things if we want to be competitive. That's the closest we've gotten to a doctor that actually, one, that will tell you the truth. The country has cancer, and it's got to stop. We have to cut it out. So here's the chemotherapy. It's these trade barriers. You may not like them, but you hired me to cure the patient, and I think chemotherapy is the only way, and it's going to hurt a lot. When's the last time you heard a president tell you the truth on anything? When's the last time you heard the press tell you the truth? And here's the truth. Everything we're facing right now is a little scary. And you know why? Because we haven't faced it when it wasn't scary, when it was just a choice. We made all of the easy choices. You know this with your kids. You're like, why just put a little extra work into it, and your choices, all these doors will open up. But the more you don't do, the more you avoid, the more doors that close for you. And at the end, you're not going to like the doors that are left because they're going to be so few, and you're going to be like, okay, I guess I'm going to be that guy for the rest of my life. Well, that's what we're doing as a nation. The same thing that we bitch about with our kids. Just do the right thing, and all of these options are in front of you. But every day you choose not to do the right thing, those doors close more and more every single day. Let's open those doors back up. But that requires all of us. And I don't know if you're going to get those people. I'm going to talk about it if I have time today. I don't know if you're going to get those people that have been sucked into this system. I mean, here's another example. They're just showing you they lied to you. They lied to you over and over again. Are you ever going to be able to convince those people that are still watching the people that lied to them? You ever going to get them to wake up? I don't know. I honestly think that the left is creating a new Palestinian state. They are creating the same thing that, honestly, they created over the last 70 years. This bogus story about Palestinians, this is their land, and the Jews had nothing to do with it, and whipping these people up into a frenzy to where they have no other options other than kill the other side. They won't listen to reason anymore. They can't even see it because they've been trained almost since birth to hate the other side. And if you think that's hyperbole, just look at who is supporting the Palestinians and all of the lies. Look who is saying on October 8th, well, that's okay, the Israelis deserved it. What? The same people who are the author of these lies about our country. Let's pray for our neighbors and our friends and our family that haven't woken up yet.